makes some sense. But
I
the
feel
Jinx feels like a good move.
Jinx or Ezreal feel really good here. I like the Ezreal more just because he's so mobile. It's hard to lock him down. Yeah, Vi can ult him, but if he's far enough away, it's really difficult to do so. And they banned the Varus, so they can't play the Varus into your Ezreal. There's no Kai'Sa. I feel like this is a pretty easy angle, but they're going to fall into the Xayah trap. Now, Guma's one player who I trust, even with the Xayah into dive, where it's like, okay, yeah, we can Featherstorm away from a lot of different CC. With a lot of players, you're like, okay, well, you pressed R, but then they have more CC. Guma has had some incredible Xayah games over his career.
Yeah.
And I do trust him a little bit more, but it's not the pick I was expecting or hoping for. The Ezreal instead looks like it's going Lazy Feels way.
Yeah, and if it's like DRX could pick Ezreal Poppy here, put Andal on the Poppy in support if they'd like to, and then you're not allowed to pick Rakan. That's illegal at that point. I do think that it's already a little bit dangerous with the rocks being strewn on the floor and things like that. Carrier finding engage angles on the Rakan is hard, or they can just pick it away themselves.
It's so good with their comp too, to be honest. Like, you grab Rakan here and you can follow up on so much of that CC, but they don't have to deny it because they have the Poppy, which can give them so much more objective control too. Very strong in the early game for engage and for, just setting up for early dives. But I like this more.
Yeah. And now you've got Justice Punch, that's a dash. Audacious Charge, that's a dash. Rakan, that's a dash. So they're not going to pick Rakan, thank goodness. You can see a wry smile on Carrier's face, but he's still going to lock it in. So this is scary for T1.
He looks really reluctant to play it here.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to make it clear to everyone, he knows.
With Doran coming in. Doran pretty well acquainted with how T1 works, though. So we'll just have to see whether they can find some magic. The composition is cohesive. The problem is what is lurking on the other side of the rift that can sort of counteract what a lot of their engage wants to do. Let's dive into the rift, see what happens. All right, T1 fans in full voice. We'll see whether DRX can try and silence LOL Park here in game one. They do have the power of the blue side. They do have what we see as a decent draft. But T1 are still T1. We'll see whether they can get over the line utilizing that. We've seen already that DK, pretty formidable opposition after dispatching with their foes this morning. Pretty comfortably, one could say. And so T1 losing to them feels a little bit less bad. If they lost to DRX here, though, that would certainly not be great, especially because that basically confirms that Group Baron is doomed.
Yes, have to agree with you on that. And you can lose to one of the top teams in Group Elder, but if you start to lose to some of the shakier ones, things look a little bit rougher. It's a pretty tough level 1 for DRX's composition, so they can't force the vision control they'd like to otherwise have here, but Lazyfield and Andil will be able to safely go up here on this ward. Now, Doran is playing Jace, and Rich is playing Ambessa. I know everyone can read that, everyone can see it on the screen. A little bit tougher to avoid dives as the Jace, because he's just not that tanky. If he can get a good knockback to the skies, the transformation, maybe you can survive and trade that back. Ambessa a little bit more dashy.
Yep.
A little bit easier to live when we do have those potential trades coming up.
Yeah, you just have more, your buttons do more stuff.
It's better under a turret than a Jace. Sadly.
Rich doing his very best to pick up as much experience as he can. That's why you can see him walking up. And he's likely not going to have to worry about being dove just yet. We'll see whether Ona does make his way down there and try and get something done. But there's not a lot of tankiness at this stage of the game. Turrets are very, very dangerous. And so maybe we'll just see, them attempt to zone him off the turret. And we'll see whether Rich is going to be okay. Right now, with a biscuit and a potion, neither of these top laners have hit a CS, nor have they used any of their consumables. So, see what that means.
See a bottom lane roam for Andil, expecting a potential aggressive play to come here. He's going to stave off that pressure a little bit.
Yeah.
And both junglers are pathing topside here. And we'll see Ezreal obviously continue to push things in here, even with his support at the bottom lane. So Lazyfield trying to harass Doran. Doran getting a lot of farm, though. See if Andil can make something happen here. I don't think he'll really be able to make a proactive play unless T1 make a mistake. Won't be able to deny this play, but he's keeping himself unknown.
Yeah, Rich doing his very best to try and at least maximize the amount that he's allowed to pick up. Hasn't done as well as Doran as, at this point, but of course Doran only in a 1v1, so they're going to be feeling all right about that. Yuka throwing some rocks around and is otherwise having a good time here in this lane, but Faker is no stranger to playing the Galio. One of my favorite Rift rivals was when Faker and Rookie were both there, both of them at the height of the Galio meta.
Yeah, I mean,
and looked really, really good. It's always been a treat.
Lazy
Feel, this is a treat for him and not one that he really wants. I think knows that he's dead as he throws down the barrier. There's the wind becomes lightning. His owner is going to make sure that the Ezreal dies, and over the wall goes Sponge, understanding that this 1v2 is not one that he can take. First blood to T1.
Yeah, a little bit overzealous on the barrier, you would have to say, but Owner does have to flash here. Ultimately, now looking for a little bit more down here on the Rich. That's such a high-value ward that one of these bot laners put there to see any potential Poppy roam. Didn't end up going for any aggression there, but now Doran looking for the execute, and will be successful. That was a really smart play, knowing that they're going to come up and try to punish him, and he will just get out for free.
Yep, really cute stuff. Denies anything there, as well as being able to pick up an entire wave worth of farm. It's actually an even bigger deal than just grabbing that first blood, right? The fact that he's the top laner that's able to get that first, amount of freedom. As we see this one more time, LazyFeel getting the information that things are real tough very, very early, as the W flash, really nice from Owner just to guarantee the kill.
Unfortunately, maybe it's some communication between Sponge and he that perhaps they could maybe make something happen there, so he pops the barrier. Timing of that perfect too for Doran while he's looking for the cannon. Didn't get the cannon either, so LazyFeel really losing out on that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, a bit of a tough time. Kamiushi going to be able to pick up the cannon. And Dragon's just spawned, going to be a mountain to start us off. And Grub's coming in pretty soon, as that's a great block from Andil. Making sure that the grand entrance isn't going to work, and I think that's a taste of things to come, in theory, for Keria and what he has to get around on this Rakan.
Yeah, unfortunately, LazyFeel wasn't able to hit his W there, so didn't trade back the damage as well as he would have liked, but yeah, I mean, like you said, it's going to be very difficult for Keria to be as mobile as he wants to be. Good scry there, spots Sponge, knows exactly where he is, knows how much time they have. And you can see Owner is heading over as well, so we might have a little bit of a mini 3v3 here.
Yeah, could be an opportunity. These junglers have been kind of mirroring each other throughout the entire game, but it's Owner that's found the most success thus far. Bit of a roam up. Looks like the Grubs are on both teams' minds right now. 7 seconds until they do spawn. Keria able to move on down as they do get the shove in. Control of waves certainly in favor of T1 on the top side, but maybe not so much in mid. So they're going to start these up immediately. Sponge moves over, gets full information. All right, there's the weave as well. Andil flashing over, looking for Keria. Hasn't pressed that W just yet, as there it is. Into the wall they go. Seismic shove is fantastic. Heroic entrance, not getting the knockups they're looking for, but Andil still in trouble. Keria going to be going down first, though, as it's both supports lying on the floor. The barrier comes in. LazyFeel is still going to get cut down by the feathers, and Yukal, oh no, doesn't manage to hit the rocks. As the flash goes forward, the Justice Punch comes in, and oh, that was actually really cute there from Yukal as well. Does have to flash out of the way, but was going to catch Faker there with the flick back.
Yeah, that was a really nice shove attempt there to deny Faker from going in for that knockup. But ultimately, Faker just stops the channel, and that's the end of that. So Yukal does get out with his
Did he get stopped because the rocks were still there?
I'm actually not sure.
Looked a little bit weird.
Well, we'll see maybe on the
We'll
replay.
check in.
I thought he just went back.
Oh no, there weren't any rocks.
Yeah, I think he just went back, but you maybe consider something that
yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I don't know.
I just got a little bit confused. I think that happened.
We'll see this fight again. It looks really good for DRX in the outset, but Andil unfortunately isn't able to push Keria into the wall. Waits for his steadfast presence to get the knock-up here, and they put all the focus onto Keria. But as he's burning down here, yes, LazyFeel does get the kill, but this puts Faker exactly where he wants to be, and a flashless Poppy, as they look for the engage, is unfortunately not going to be able to get out. Guma does have the win here. It's the health advantage and the rest of his team being here. We'll see this moment. Yeah, the rocks were behind Faker. He just...
Oh no! The Justice, but he went into just the edge.
The wall.
That's so frustrating. No, it was the one rock. The one rock.
Oh, was that
still there? Yeah, it was actually there. I got really confused because the rocks looked so far away.
Yeah, that was really weird.
Oh man, that's unfortunate. So T1 going to start off this dragon. They've already got first blood, and it is 2-1 in Grubs, but that means that no one gets the feat of strength. So no one's feet are that powerful just yet.
And you were able to see that like right away.
But it was weird, like, because you can't cancel Justice Punch, right? Like, so as soon as you're starting to do that, like something had to stop him. But I was sure the rocks weren't there.
Yeah, I thought he just went into the wall maybe, but the rock was there. Yeah. Anyway. Like, it looked like he was like, ooh, that shove looks a little weird. I'm not going in, but obviously he can't control that.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Yeah,
but, yeah, you just can't. There's just no way of figuring that out. So maybe that was what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
UCal also, I think, flashed anyway, and so Faker got what he wanted out of the situation regardless. So maybe if we're results-based, everything's fine. Gumayusi here towards the bottom side in 1v2 for the moment. As you can see, Carrier on a little bit of a roam. And as the dust settles, you know, 1.2k, but the feats of strength really poised to build up here for T1 with the fact that they managed to grab that dragon. Nothing yet on the board for DRX. Have to see them find a bit of an angle here as Sponge even finding an interrupt on Carrier. There's a cease and desist as well. Seismic shove pushes him back. Carrier's just dead. Heroic entrance might be heroic, but it is not going to save that Rakan. And his woes continue.
The simplicity of the comp I was talking about before. I mean, Rakan's very squishy, very slippery and hard to lock down, but not for a Vi. And once the Vi hits the initial CC with the ultimate, it's really easy to follow up with a seismic shove and take out that Rakan. DRX very happy with that prize they pick up here. Kill goes over to Sponge. 2 assists to UCal already this game, and see what else he can get done. Is Lazyfield maybe in danger?
He might. There is some Shock Blast coming after him, but he does have Arcane Shift. One heck of an ability. Gets him over the wall. He'll be fine.
Faker has made so many big plays on Galio. Think back to the World's Final, obviously, that we had very recently, and so many other critical games in the LCK. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he's going to pilot this champ. He's already had one good fight as Doran.
Yeah, Rich going to be like finding the ultimate. Immediately onto Doran here, and Sponge. Perfect positioning once again. Continues charging, but that's a great flash from Doran. Able to get that hammer blow back as well, and Andil's lying on the floor for some reason.
Yeah.
Not the place to have a rest.
No.
Falling asleep in rivers, dangerous, Wolf. Very dangerous.
Certainly. See what transpired there in a moment, but see a kill on a Xin Zhao, so yeah. I think he might have interacted with some people trying to clear some vision and did not survive the interaction.
T1 are getting some strong feet, though, as we can see here.
I mean, they already have first blood. We've got the first of the object. Yeah, he just out here way too far with no teammates. Like,
and the good old
backing.
The problem was it wasn't a reactionary steadfast presence. It was instead, and I'm panicking. I need it for the movement speed, and then they just wait it out. And they get the kill over to Faker as well, so that's it's a little bit of a worry here if he continues to get powered up. And Sponge going to be denying that one, so only one objective to be taken here by DRX.
Critically gets that one without the smite, so has another opportunity to grab an additional.
Yeah, Andil is level 6, did manage to make it there as the wall comes through. They're looking for Gumayusi. They will be giving away a few of these grubs, but Gumayusi is going to die. Does have to use all of the summoner spells as UCal could almost just die here, and Gumayusi will survive. T1 take 4 out of the 6 grubs in the early stages of the game as well, and I'd say if you're a T1 fan, you're real happy with how that one went.
I mean, I told everyone he's the one you can trust.
Never mind. Maybe don't be. Oh, never mind. He's fine.
He's the one you can trust.
Totally fine. Calculated. Yeah, you can.
He's definitely the one you can trust.
How many times have we been pranked?
Yeah, I mean, the guy is just, he knows how to react quickly here. I also, you know, he played it well, but maybe not the target to go on is Xayah in this situation, because the potential for escape is definitely there, and they ended up giving up the grubs as well. Now Rich is isolated. Sponge comes over, does have ult flash.
Yeah, let's see whether they can deny this first turret, because that'll mean feats of strength going over to T1. Faker. Let's see it. Okay, there is the public execution, and Doran will be going down first. Oh, they take their time! They take too long! And he's able to get the kill onto Rich. Sponge versus Faker here. I think it's probably still pretty good for Faker, despite the fact that he is Galio, not necessarily good at dealing with physical damage, but you know, he's just able to walk it off.
Okay, well that ended up being pretty bizarre, but Doran is going to be really happy with the result, because now obviously topside with no jungler here to threaten. Guma's going to get additional plate gold with Carrier, looking for the first turret as well, which would be feats for them.
Yep, that's
they won't get it.
Strength. So T1 will be able to collect that one for themselves. And and it's just going kind of from bad to worse here for DRX. And it feels like there are a lot of unforced errors in this game on their side.
A lot of mistakes.
Seismic Shove is pretty good here. His Justice Punch just doesn't feel as great trying to get out of these rocks.
Yeah, this time the rocks seemed pretty obvious what was going on there.
Like, I really do like the answers that DRX has for what T1 are trying to do. But unfortunately, T1 are just really, really good at playing out compositions like this. You know, like the Protect the President, Faker with a lot of utility, Owner on a champion that can just brawl with you early on in the game. And in this composition, Doran's kind of irrelevant, right? Like, you want to put him in a side lane. He wants to be creating pressure where he can and then coming into team fights late and things like this.
Yeah.
And check this out one more time.
Faker doesn't get turret aggro here. They go on to Doran. The ult comes through from Ambessa. And Doran buys some space, and actually that little cone, that little AoE for Ambessa doesn't hit him. And that gives him just enough extra damage of time to do the damage to get the kill first. So a little bit unfortunate there by Rich. Doesn't quite connect. And now Doran's going to grab this turret as well. And man, T1 snowballing this gold lead. 2 turrets, 3,000 gold ahead at 14 minutes. Feats of strength on top of it all. It is looking really rough to try to recover from this one. Now, DRX have a lot of tools to get single picks before an objective, but they really are going to have to make that happen sooner than later, because once T1 really start to get the ball rolling with this composition towards the latter half of the mid game, it just becomes even too difficult to actually get those picks anymore.
Yeah. Is this the comeback now, though, Wolf, for Group Baron, as T1 looking to try and double the amount of wins that their squad has managed to pick up?
I mean, they're picked, for this group to be a dominant force, It's a wise choice. I mean, T1 are defending world champions. They didn't get into being captain for either group because of their LCK result, and which is what the group, leaders were based on. That's why Genji and Hanwha were the leaders.
Yep.
But T1 are an incredibly strong team. They're the best team in the world at the moment in terms of results, right? And so, you're expecting this team to get big wins. They lost to D+, but this one is looking like a different story so far.
Let's see whether they can find some more success here as Arakan up and available. As, the blood pedal. See, Sponge looking for an opportunity, gets over the wall, finds Owner. Let's see whether he pulls the trigger on an ultimate. Looks like the answer is no. Tenting blows, things like this. Just in position. As Arakan's going to be up in 4 minutes time, so it's going to take some time. I believe he'll be voracious as well this game.
Yeah, it seems likely.
Yeah.
Given the patterns we have observed, that's annoying for Rich.
It is. I feel like he was standing there for a very long time as well. He was really committed to that exact position.
Andil, I've seen this before.
Yeah, let's not mess around in the river. We mentioned that before, sleeping in the river, not what you want to do. So they're going to opt out. Rift Herald started up here for T1. And are DRX going to be capable of stopping T1 from just getting what they want in this game? That's the big question.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this fight the answer is no. They're just not set up for it at all. I mean, they're not even here. That delay on the back was pretty huge, actually. You know, Rich just not able to make an impact here. He had teleport to maybe come up and fight, but they didn't have any real good wards set up there. And they just ultimately give this one over to T1. So a Herald practically guarantees that third and final outer turret in the mid lane will go to T1. It's still relatively healthy, as the observers showcase here, but I mean, T1 are just happily scaling at the moment, and they've avoided some of these really powerful early skirmishes that DRX's composition could have by just being faster on the play, better on the map. And DRX, I mean, like I said, there's still some angles here, but you're really hoping that some of these early objectives you can be there to fight on. Also hoping to get your cannons.
Let's see whether Rich gets this one. Hopefully he does. But yeah, you're right. I feel like there were the tools. Unfortunately, a lot of the ganks, the opportunities just fell a little bit short, right? Like, they went so far in onto trying to kill Doran and Faker, and then Doran manages to survive to go 1-for-1 in that one. Gumiyushi surviving twice in a row on that top side. Heartbreaking here for DRX, but all of these things add up to T1 really being able to run away with this advantage that's quickly approaching 4,000 gold, and prior to 20 minutes, that is pretty large. Still, DRX did manage to get themselves one of the dragons, so that that snowball is one that they have kind of slowed down a little. Right now you can see Gumiushi 1,000 gold ahead on his Xayah, and you mentioned it in the draft, he's one of the only players that we trust to pick this champion and feel like it's going to be good. I still don't know whether the Rakan was a good idea, but the fact that you do get empowered by having that Lovers Duo and things like this, certainly a way of could be enough to make it feel okay, despite Steadfast presence and all of the rocks all over the ground.
Yeah, it is definitely a pick that, you know, we might be doing some result-based analysis if we say it's right.
Yeah.
If he wins, but obviously a pick he's been comfortable on.
Let's say it's risky. Let's go with risky.
Risky and not necessarily optimal, but FAKER is looking for an engage here. It's a lot of damage. He has 4 stacks of Dark Seal, that plus his Sword Pen Boots, you know, adding up a little bit.
Yeah, I like the fact that he went Silk Shoes. Actually going for a bit more damage than you otherwise get. Almost towards the burn earn, perhaps. Unless he does go for, you know, something else, could be a little bit more of a battle Galio, but that is going to be second dragon for T1. Ocean Soul this game, as Lazy Feel trying to dash forward, make things happen. Muramana not quite done just yet.
T1 have gotten basically everything but that first dragon. And they're looking for more here.
Yep, Ona going in. Oh, the seismic shove is gorgeous, but he does have that crescent guard. They're trying to block these dashes. The Xin Zhao goes down as Rich zoning Gumiushi out of this fight. Sponge just getting the heck out of there. Red buff will be secured here by Doran, but he might die for it. That could be a little bit of a problem. FAKER able to make his way out as there's a public execution this time onto FAKER, but he creates the distance he's looking for. Featherstorm comes through from Gumiushi. He's still at full health as the heroic entrance once again not finding a lot of value. Decent knockup. FAKER is likely to go down, but he trades for Sponge. Yukal's over the wall. The seismic shove onto Doran. He finds the big rock carrier. Is he able to get out? The battle dance says absolutely, because he just dashes all over the place, and they don't have infinite rocks. They don't have the most steadfast presence, but they do have Rich. And let's see whether he can grab a double here. The grand entrance is decent. Seismic shove misses. And oh my god, they had like 20 health between them.
I mean, Guma held his flash until the very, very end.
Oh, true shot barrage. Oh, it gets him. And Carry gets taken down. Andil, big giggle for that one.
This is a big win, though, for DRX.
Oh,
they take a kill lead here. The gold lead is thinned out significantly. Only 2,000 behind. That'll get even smaller once this turret falls here. Rich will get the whole thing. Carry looking a little bit upset about what transpired in that last play. Now, in T1's defense, the map terrain absolutely favors their composition here in a situation like this. They're looking to make an aggressive play on this red buff. Carry is on the flank. He wants to set this up. The rocks are already down. So from here, it feels like it's an ideal situation, but Carry goes in a little bit too early, gets stunned here. Sponge is very tanky. And then, you know, T1 probably could have just been happy to leave. Once again, Yukal adding a ton of damage here. FAKER gets one taunt, but the rest of his team is already on his way out. I know, we have more.
Oh dear, Gumiushi's dead. There it is. That is the cease and desist plus the seismic shove combo that we've seen so many times.
Yeah.
And this looks like it could be an Arakan angle for DRX.
I mean, definitely an opportunity here. Guma's ult was like 10 seconds away. Now FAKER's in danger.
Yep, seismic shove does find him one more time, as the Galio is pretty tanky, so not going to be killing him just yet, but that may have convinced him to leave. No teleport up and available. The heroic entrance also not there, as teleport coming in towards his top side. And Rich is going to join, looking to try and get rid of Doran. There is still an outer turret up there, so he does have a bastion of safety he can head towards, and Ona could make this interesting. Keeper's verdict comes down, as there is the public execution. DRX looking to dive on top of the jungler, but Sponge is already down. Meanwhile, there's a battle on multiple fronts. Doran and Carrier looking like they're almost winning, as Lazy Feel wants to take down Doran, and he will be able to get there. In the meantime, Rich is limping away from the battle, and Ona says absolutely not. And then Andil can do absolutely nothing. Gumiushi, he'll turn up extraordinarily late, probably just to help his team grab this Arakan buff.
Lazy Feel is in no man's land as well. Looking for some damage here onto Guma, but I think his fate is sealed.
Yeah, let's see whether Lazy Feel can make this interesting. Arakan is on his team at the moment as Lazy... Oh, man. I got so excited that something could almost happen.
Yeah, a little bit interesting.
Yeah. Gumiushi pressed barrier, so I guess he got that.
Well, I mean, now he's done enough damage here to where they can't really Otacon safely, and they're going to have to back, so it is significant.
I mean, what's the result of this? Well, the result of this is Otacon got real mad.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's like, okay, you guys can go, it's fine. But yeah, let's go back to the beginning of this fight, because it all starts off with this pick onto Guma. Look at his ult. You can see at the bottom of your screen how close it is. About like 10, 15 seconds away when this hits, and he just cannot get out. So this is huge that, you know, yeah, he survived the last fight, but there's consequences for using that defensive ultimate. And in this fight, the fact that that turret is still up and they can't kill Doran is actually really significant, because he does so much damage in this fight, and engaging onto the Crescent guarding Xin Zhao just really doesn't spark joy when he can live through so much of that damage, and Doran is just winning out on the top side. Yes, the Lazy Field ultimately does take him out, but he's so low and cannot continue the fight. Andil just left on his lonesome. Owner doing so much in this fight. I mean, just impossible to kill, and just so good in this melee battle here at the bottom side of the Herald.
And he's 6-1. Like, this guy, 2 items. He can upgrade his shoes if he would like to. You can see the goal difference is a little bit weird and wacky, but T1 have brought it back under control once again. Still, does feel like it's not all over.
No.
Or anything like that for DRX. Their composition still can find some of these team fights, and a Poppy composition always has that keeper's verdict to make things uncomfortable.
It's just the problem is T1, taking an Otacon fight is still risky at this point. You know, there's still some wiggle room for DRX in those types of moments, but something like a Dragon where you have full control over this area is so free to take. And DRX don't have the damage just yet. I mean, their Ezreal's on 2.5 items, but they don't have the damage to crush Otacon in return. They're going to look for a dive on the Faker instead.
Yeah, that was a little bit weird, that whole situation, as Sponge presses the ultimate button. Faker gets out of the turret range. True Shot Barrage is going to help aid it. And Yukal not wanting to take any chances. He's going to use that ultimate just to make sure that they have as many people in the area as possible.
I mean, you get Faker, you should be able to get this turret. So you get something in return for that Dragon that did go over. This took a lot of resources to do so. A lot of health bars getting low means it's tough to actually take this out. Guma's splitting.
Yeah, he should be able to get this in a turret as well. Keria is making sure that he's being as frustrating as possible as Andil finds a heroic charge. He's the only one here. Keeper's verdict comes down. There's a public execution, as of course Ambessa can show up at a moment's notice. Doran is just so tanky though. He gets over the wall. No one's dead quite yet, but Gumayushi is now going to turn up, and now it's Owner's turn. Oh, he gets pushed into the seismic shot, but it doesn't matter. He is so tanky, it is absurd. And Doran is still raining these shock blasts forward. I mean, tank Jace is so frustrating, man.
I guess it's just a trick, man. It seems like you can kill Jace because you're used to killing Jace all the time, but you can't kill him.
He used to be tank. Well, he's not that tanky, I guess, if Richard comes and kills him when he's on like 0 health. That's a lot of value from that Featherstorm as the True Shot Barrage sails by. Sponge in the back of this pit right now. Another opportunity for Yukal as the fists are doing the talking for Sponge here at this stage. Not enough dashes there, unfortunately, for Rich, who will just get pummeled by this Galio, and this game has devolved.
Yeah, I mean, too bad this didn't happen just a few minutes ago. You know, like maybe like 11 minutes ago, we could have maybe had Ruinous.
True.
But yeah, T1 playing fast and loose, and you know, Lazy Field ended up cleaning up a lot of those kills there in that last moment. And
all right, we need a Gleaming Quill steal. That's what we need. Oh, okay, there's a teleport. Remember, if this goes down in favor of DRX, they don't care if you kill them, because they just come back again.
They care a little bit, so they'll leave, but yeah, it would have been less bad. We're going way back to the dive on the Faker that started this all up. Yukal takes half of his health bar in this exchange, so I thought maybe starting the Otacon up after this would have been a little bit overzealous here, but look at how tanky Doran is. He gets shoved into the wall. In fairness, like a lot of the damage that he's absorbing is from a Poppy here. He has a lot of his fists from his teammates and a Rakan as well, so he lives for a really long time. And then Guma, actually, I don't know how long we're going to go into this replay. Stuff is happening live, but Guma actually gets so much value out of his ultimate, but then ultimately still goes down.
Okay. All right, Gumayushi once again trying to get some value out of some stuff. Triple seismic shove, and down goes the Xayah, and it's a free ticket back to the base to spend some of that money for Sponge. Speaking of the winds of war, but a little bit late. The battle is kind of over. Now Baron is up and available. I don't know about this one, DRX. That would be an optimistic choice. Owner is still up and available. Andil going for some options here. As all right, Rich, public execution gonna go wide.
Yeah, well,
a bit private.
Yeah, I mean, they're just feeling like because they have these reses, they're going to be able to take out Baron. Still fairly greedy here from DRX.
Yeah, a few things on cooldown now as Keria is trying to battle dance around this fight. Andil off to the side, keeper's verdict. This could be so valuable, but instead he holds onto it. Heroic entrance coming on down there as they get a few knockups. Heroic charge onto the Galio, but he's so tanky. As T1, the more of these send homes that they can get without losing anyone, it's very important. 100 gold going over to FAKER here as Rich. I'm not sure about that one, my friend, as he's going to dash around the fight and look for an opportunity to get something done, but he is just going to die. As Doran likely to fall as well. A 1-for-1 as far as top lane is. But I think it's probably still pretty good for T1.
I am once again asking teams to not just say, I have wings over my current champion level, and so therefore I have to do something extremely risky as a high chance of failing. Like, this is fine, okay? Yeah, Sponge is going to lose his wings for this one. That's okay, because they end up getting the pick on to Guma. LazyField gets the kill, then they can try to make something happen after that. But in this particular scenario, this is insanely greedy. LazyField's ult is actually one of the big saving graces in this because it does so much damage here. But you remember, you're fighting into this Galio. Guma is rezzed. It's going to take so long to actually get these champion kills that in this longer fight, you're not going to win it. And it was just a bit bizarre here that T1, and then like Rich teleporting back in is actually just not allowed. It's like,
yeah,
okay.
This was the big problem scenario, as we're having a look at a potential Ocean Soul for T1. Carrier getting over the wall here as Doran. Mega tanky. He's got his Spear of Sojourn now, so he's doing a bit more damage on top of everything, but man, it's looking a little bit frightening. All right, there's a weave as well. Okay, UCal, that is an aggressive move. The True Shot Barrage doing so much damage. Another great shove, but Andil still going to be lying on the floor. Sponge goes in. It's going to be the secure of the soul, and this heroic entrance is looking pretty good. Still Ambessa trying to get some work done. Owner is so tanky, it doesn't make any sense. The rock's not going to be enough, but LazyField is able to get that kill in the end. He's going to have to be a real hero now, though, because there are 3 T1 members looking for him and UCal.
Gal's got his passive. Maybe he gets out.
Yep, Grand Entrance coming down. Seismic Shove is decent as Carrier. Will he actually go down? That's the question. He's trying to back, and it looks like he will survive. LazyField missing a bunch of buttons, and there's a flash forward from Gumayushi. 432 gold. Lying on the floor now is LazyField, unfortunately. And T1, they should be able to take what they want.
This doesn't feel like a pro game, Atlas.
This feels, yeah, this is fast and loose.
I don't even know what to analyze, you know? This is definitely one of those like take it away chronicler moments, right? Like where you throw it over and you're like, well, there's a lot to say. I don't know if it really, how much it really means. There's a really nice setup here for UCal to go for that risky shove. They have the Crescent Guard though to buy so much time. Like Owner has really done a lot of heavy lifting when these engages come through with his Crescent Guard. And then, I mean, T1 here in better position. So when you don't get those initial picks off of the shove and the engage from UCal, you don't really have a front-to-back AD carry necessarily. Like, Ezreal can do that for you if you're fighting on even footing, but when you're behind, it's not like a Jinx where, oh, he got that first kill and now he's going to pop off and he can kill everyone. It's not the pentakill angle in these types of situations against this composition. So, I mean, UCal almost gets out. LazyField was always going to be doomed there at the end, but I think if it's an even game state, this fight looks way better for DRX, but they're just so far behind that it simply doesn't work. And it's Ocean Soul with Owner securing the Dragon there. 7 kills on this Xin Zhao, and he has been really so valuable from start to finish in this game, from the early ganks, the way higher value he got in the early game, impacting lanes, and now in teamfights, absorbing so much of the pressure that DRX are trying to lay down with this Vi composition. The Xin Zhao pick ended up being so perfect here for T1.
I just feel like, yeah, Owner has put the team on his back in this particular game as Doran. Okay, not going to face check that brush. Very close to face checking the brush, but didn't actually do it in the end as Rich dancing around. Area and Owner making their way in though. Let's see whether UCal can actually join to save the top laner as FAKER soaking a bit of damage, but otherwise isn't too worried about it. Riftmaker completed. He's got a Lich Bane. This is Battle Galio, if ever I've seen one. Sponge standing on a ward. A little bit unfortunate there as the Seismic Shove doesn't get too much value. Brock's there on the ground as Owner turns up, and he's real scary. Rich as well, sitting at 50%. Owner just trying to get himself out of there. And the dash will be denied. This steadfast presence pretty good from Andil. And what we want to see is so much more from Andil.
Yeah,
I think the Keeper's verdicts need to start landing if DRX want any hope.
It's the only way they can steal away this Baron is to knock half of T1 away, but T1 are obviously also aware of it. Rich going to teleport back in. This one more reasonable. Look at the flank angle here for Carrier, though. Unseen.
Oh, no. Andal's going to whiff it. They can't see the health bars as Heroic Charge might make up for it. Doran is so tanky though. Stop engaging on this guy. As Carrier will be able to dash his way out. True Shot Barrage almost managed to steal it. Seismic Shove onto 2 again. But they've got health bars for days. They've got buffs all over the place. And DRX are just running out of hope in this game.
I think a lot of why this game looks so weird is because both of these teams have such a defensive advantage through these choke points with the taunt, with the rocks, with the shoves. But T1 are just so far ahead at this point. They have positional advantage there. Carrier is going to get caught. I don't know how much it matters.
Yeah, Lazyfield, yeah, he's going to be flashing away from that one very quickly.
That's going to be an inhibitor going down here.
Oh, there's the flash taunt. Going to connect onto 2 of them. In goes Andal, though, to try and stop this one from happening. But Lazyfield, in the blink of an eye, he disappeared. The Ambassador as well. Sorry, Rich, but it's a gray screen for now, and it looks like T1, they may not be stopping here. They might just be finishing this game off. Their first win on red side, and a pretty good sign if you want Baron to make a comeback in terms of the battle of the groups. The world champs finally on the board here with a victory over DRX here in game 1 at least. So I guess not necessarily finally on the board. Still need to do it one more time. This was a much better showing.